The video screening interview. Our next screening tool is the video screening interview. We're a big fan of a video screening tool because of its accessibility and the time it will save you in the interview process.
Prior to the interview, you should have a set of questions already created for the role. If it's an administrative role, like the one we've been using in our example, you'll obviously want to know things like how they handle stress, what processes and procedures they might have put in place, and how they deal with demanding personalities.
For sales positions, you might ask more questions about their numbers and previous performance. What motivates them as a salesperson? How did they increase their conversion rates? Develop and maintain a sales pipeline, or more specific questions around their training or use of scripts.
Base your questions around the needs for the position. If there's something you're unclear on or want more detail about, now is the time to ask. Leave no stone unturned here.
Another reason video interviews are particularly great, though, is because they are an easy window into someone's technological abilities.
If your candidate can't figure out how to log onto a video call, they might not be able to handle the CRMs and databases of modern workplaces.
And more importantly, if they can't figure it out, they better be using their resources to make it work. And as a last resort, if they really can't get it, they should at least call for assistance. But if they don't call you and they just don't appear, that's just unprofessional and should disqualify them. Are they going to call you when they're sick or just not show up? These are all important questions.
Once you finally have a human face-to-face with you on the computer, knowing where to start is always a good first step. Remember to be professional and develop rapport while staying neutral and objective throughout your interaction.
It's always a good idea to have their resume in front of you and ask all those clarifying questions we've compiled throughout the resume screening process.
Give them a chance to review their job experiences briefly again here. Notice that briefly is the key word. If 5 minutes has passed by and they're still talking about their experience at Target, you might need to redirect them a little for time.
And also know that they might either be nervous or too chatty for your role, depending on what position we're looking to hire for.
At the end of the interview, it's smart to have some scenario-based questions. These test problem-solving abilities and how someone thinks on their feet. Know the answers that you're anticipating, but also keep an open mind for someone that might come up with something creative or another feasible solution.
Keep in mind that these scenarios will be different for different roles. A question that you might ask a salesperson might not be relevant to an executive assistant and vice versa, so tailor your questions accordingly.
Let's look at how this would work with Emily and Rufus, our two potential candidates for the executive assistant role for our CEO, Richard. At the conclusion of Sam's phone screening, she reviewed her notes and she felt she wanted to move both candidates forward to the final screening round. Sam informed each candidate at the end of the phone screening that she would like to conduct a 30-minute video interview. Let's see how Sam conducts each interview.
And so I just have a couple scenario questions for you here. They're just to see how you think on your feet and how you problem solve. The first one is a little lengthier, so just bear with me. And the question is, one great part about this position is that you'll get to travel the U.S. with Richard, your boss. In this scenario, you and Richard are traveling to a conference that he is running in Chicago. Richard has several clients and guests staying at a hotel where the conference is being held. You arrive maybe 2 days early before the other guests and get checked in. The next morning when the check-in happens with the concierge, there's about 75 rooms reserved for this event. But you discover that the concierge at the hotel has been overbooked by about 10 guests and now you don't have rooms for them. So what would you take, or what steps would you take in order to kind of deal with that situation?
I would go speak with the concierge, see if there was any way to work with other local hotels to get some rooms reserved for the clients who are coming. And if we couldn't do that, maybe look into Airbnbs or some other local solutions. But really, I would focus on working with the hotel to get that resolved.
That was a long question. I guess I'd talk to the manager and see what we could do to get some more rooms, or, maybe there's some people that are, going to cancel or something like that. Or we could just have people room together.
Now it's time to review your meticulously created notes along with your employee avatar. Look them over. Make a pros and cons list. Do whatever you need to feel solid about a narrowed down batch of candidates, because those will be the ones you want to know more about. And once you've made that short list, it's time to think about which assessments you want to administer to understand them better.
It should be noted that for every 10 video interviews you schedule, expect that at least 2 of them will probably ghost you. In the world we live in, people can easily hide behind screens, and canceling on a video interview feels less harmful than bailing on the human behind the screen in real life. It'll be frustrating for sure, so do what you can to not launch your computer across the office, especially because the right person is out there. They might just be buried beneath several layers of no-shows, fakers, and flakers. And you should note that this is normal, so don't stress out.